Okay, this is just a quick recording. Had some people that have had difficulty utilizing Blue Letter Bible with Excel for the word search. So I did a little homework and figured out that we can also use a Google Sheet, which of course is free. You'll probably need a Gmail account, which is also free if you don't already have a Gmail email address. So I just wanted to put up a quick video to show how we can take the information out of Blue Letter Bible and get it into the Google Sheet for the homework exercise for session 10. This is primarily for my buddy John Lubega over in Uganda. John, this little video should help get you into the Google Sheet and avoid having to upgrade Excel or anything like that. So let me just start with a quick refresh on what we're doing in Blue Letter Bible. All right, so we're going to come up to the word search. Let me just go back to the home page. And under Search the Bible, we're going to switch it to the New American Standard Bible. And they have changed this just a little bit. We no longer need to use the double quotes around it. So you can see you can just type the word, a word, and then capital or, another word, capital or. And again, I'm using save, saves, saved, and saving for the example here. But for your homework, you'll actually use the word reward, rewarded, rewards, and rewarding. But you'll type it in here, choose NASB, go ahead and hit search. Now for the word saved and all of its variations, 239 times and 231 verses, meaning that 8 of those verses have the word listed twice. It's coming across in 5 different pages. We're going to import multiple pages. I think even for the word reward, you're going to have 2 pages. But just to show you how this works again, we're going to come up to the copy options. And the only thing that is needed here is the reference hyphen verse. Everything else can be on none and no number, nothing here, nothing down here. You really just need this one highlight here, reference verse, none and none. All right, and then we're just we can double click everything. You can just double click that first little icon right there. That'll select everything. And then you can just choose copy. You'll see it pops up copied. So now we know it's on the clipboard. So now we can come over to Google Sheets. Now this is already kind of a completed one in Google Sheets. So what I'm going to do is start a new Google spreadsheet. And John, I'd already sent you the link for the Google spreadsheet in Skype. But I'll include a link to Google Sheets in the notes on the YouTube video once I post it up. Which obviously I already have because you won't be seeing this until I get it posted up. So here we are in an empty sheet inside of Google Sheets. And at this point, I'm just going to edit and paste. And this is just going to paste everything in that we just copied. And right now, each one of these, like when I click on A1, the entire reference and verse is in the one cell. That's okay for right now. And then we're going to come back over and let's go ahead and get page 2. Remember, we scroll down to the bottom and we'll pick the second page. Again, we'll double click to select everything and we'll choose copy. Then I'm going to come back over to the spreadsheet and just scroll down to the next available one. And again, I'll choose edit and paste, right? So now that I've got the passages in here, the way in Google Sheets that we're going to separate this into 2 columns to make it easier for us, we're just going to highlight everything in this first column. So we're just going to highlight all of column A. And then we're going to go to data and we're going to say split text to columns. All right, so under data, split text to columns. All right, and then it's going to say what's the separator going to be? Now what you can see is that all of these have a hyphen that's being used in them. And so we're going to come into here and we're going to choose custom. And then we're just going to type in a hyphen. No spaces or anything, just add a hyphen. Sorry, that was an underscore. A hyphen. Right, and that's all we have to do. Just add the hyphen and then hit enter. Oh, let me try that again. Or did it already? Oh, it already did it. Yep. So as soon as I added the hyphen, it went ahead and split it. Because now what you can see is if I click on column A, it only contains the verse reference. And if I click on column B, it now contains the passage. So we can then spread column A out, right? I can take my mouse and put it right between column A and B and just kind of slide that over. So now we can actually see that I've got only my passages here. And then in B, we can make it a little bit wider as well, just kind of spread that across. And then in order to not have these kind of rolling past our column, you can click on the letter B to highlight the entire column. And then we're going to do what's called wrap text. And so let's see, I think that is here. So I'm going to select this icon, and then right here in the middle where it says wrap and the little icon, I'm going to select that. And now we can see it's putting all of my text in only one cell. Now I can kind of spread that out a little bit more to size it good. And now we're starting to look like what we need it to look like to align with the video that's already out there for how we do this in Excel. I'm not going to go back through the entire process of what I want you to do with it once you have it in here, because that's in the other video. This is just a short video to help you see how to get it into Google Sheets and get it formatted in Google Sheets. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add about maybe 5 or 10, oops, I don't want to do that. We're going to add about maybe 5 or 10 empty rows. So you can just highlight 10 rows by clicking on the number 1 and dragging down to 10. Right mouse click on that row number, and then just say insert X number of rows, in this case 10 rows above. And that'll give me my empty space above. And then I would suggest you put a separator, and we want 3 columns, A, B, and C. So you can highlight those 3 columns and then just fill it in with, say, a light gray. And then let's do the same thing up top. Fill it in with a light gray. And then, that was the wrong color, wasn't it? Let's try that again. So that one. And then up top, we're going to merge these 3 cells together so that we can center our domain key name up there. So I'm going to highlight all 3 of those, and then I'm going to come over to merge cells. I'm just going to click that, and so now this is acting as one cell. I'm going to double click into it and just type domain key. And then once I have that in there, I'm going to center that. So I'm going to use the center. Right? And so now we've got our domain key here. Maybe I'll highlight that text and let's bold face it just to make it a little easier to see. And then over here, we're going to call this our reference column. This is the domain, and this is the definition, right? And we'll do the same thing over here as far as we'll bold those. We don't need to center them. And then we can just wrap that whole thing in a border. So I'll select all of that. Come up and choose this borders, just the one that has all 4 squares highlighted, and select that one. So now we've got a nice little spreadsheet to work with. And again, the way this works, ever so briefly, is you're going to read every single passage. The very first one, you're going to put an A up here, and you're going to read this definition, and you're going to say, this sounds like deliverance from physical harm, whatever it may be. And then you're going to come over here and put a letter A. Now what we can do is go ahead and center these as well, so that the A is not jammed up against the left. And we can do that over here as well. We'll just go ahead and center everything in that column. There we go. Oh, now it's nicely formatted. And then once you've gone through this, let's say this next one here is an A, and maybe the next one's an A, and then maybe we have a B and a B, and B is the number 2 one here. This is another definition for saved right there. And then when you're done, you're going to count up all the A's, and you would say, I have 3 A's here, and I've got 2 B's, and so forth. So that you can get a sense of, the word that we're studying, in this instance, save, is used, X number of times, or is, it's used a different way, because remember the purpose of this is to understand that a word often has multiple meanings. And the goal of this exercise is to help us do the work to understand how many different ways is a given word being used, so that we don't have a tendency to assume that the word always means the same thing. If we assume that, then we can get into trouble a lot, because we're going to make a word mean something or say something in a given context that it may not actually mean. So this is a good way to understand that words have multiple meanings. And this is how to utilize Blue Letter Bible with a Google Sheet. The import process is probably a little bit easier in the Google Sheet for this. It's really just an edit, paste, and then use the data to separate the text into columns. I hope that helps, and happy to get back on Skype after you've had a chance to view this if we need to work on it a little bit more. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.